This edition of MacVoices is brought to you by Opsgenie by Atlassian. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. And by Smile, the makers of world-class software like PDFpen for Mac, PDFpenPro for Mac, PDFpen for iPhone and iPad, PDFpen Scan Plus for iPhone and iPad, TextExpander for Mac, and TextExpander for iPhone and iPad. Learn more about all their great products at smilesoftware.com. Welcome back to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I'm once again pleased to welcome the CEO of one of my favorite companies because they make one of my favorite products, Drobo, Mihir Shah. Mihir, welcome. It's great to have you back.
Hey, Chuck. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share some great news with you guys. So let's get to it.
Well, I'm not going to steal your thunder, so I'll just let you make the announcement of the great news.
So, to all your community, thanks for being loyal listeners to the Mac Voices. We have been, Chuck and I have been going at this for about 3 years now, and appreciate everybody, taking the time to listen and watch this program. But I am pleased to announce that we have finally launched the successor to the Drobo Pro, which is the Drobo 8D, a direct attached device that's bigger, better, and bolder than any other direct attached device that we've ever put out there in the marketplace. And why this one is so special to me is we began this journey of 3 years ago of really turning Drobo into a customer-centric company. And what I mean by that is building products that customers want. And of all the trade shows that I've attended, everybody kept on asking us, when is a new Drobo 8-bay direct attach product coming out? And, to all the listeners out there, all the customers out there, we've heard you loud and clear. It took a little bit longer than expected to get out, but our goal was to make a quality product. Our goal was to make a product that not only the Drobo team can be proud of, but our users can be proud to use. So with that, we launched it today. Some of the key differentiators in the product. It's the only device that has the capability to do 128 terabyte volume. So think about that, Chuck. Could you fill that up?
It would take quite a while. Here. It would take quite a while. With raw video, that's the thing, though. With raw video, if you're shooting 4K video, you could foresee a time that you could start to fill this thing or get close to it.
Yeah, and to have the ability to do 128 terabyte volume is pretty significant. We also have 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. You heard it right, Thunderbolt 3. That's where the world is going. Some of our customers who've already migrated onto the newer Apple products that have Thunderbolt 3 capability, this will work perfect with your workstations, with your workflows. We have the other real cool thing we have in there is we have an Accelerator Bay built in the back that's toolless completely. So you can actually push it in and eject it just like you do in the front, but this is spring loaded, right? So you push it in, to take it out, you push it in again. And Chuck and, the folks out there, if you remember the Drobo Mini had that capability of pushing in a 2.5-inch drive in and out. And so we've used some of that innovation that only Drobo has been able to do out there to incorporate this into this this product. The other thing, we spent a lot of time around making it, the system even more intelligent. So it used to be that you could only do set the volumes for the time machine backups. Now you could set volumes for whatever you want. You can increase it. You can lower the volume amount. And then not only that, if the system sees that you're not fully utilizing it, it'll automatically free up space for another volume that you can create. Right, so we built a lot of intelligence in the software on top of the already intelligent Beyond Rate. So it is pretty cool, Chuck, I must say.
So I want to make sure we get that right. So when you're talking about these volumes, are you talking about dynamic resizing of the partitions?
Exactly. Right. So you can say, let's say you start off with a 50 terabyte volume and you want to extend it. You can go extend that on the fly. You can even shrink it on the fly. And if you don't decide to do anything at all, the system will do it for you, right? It'll say, hey, you got this thing that's 50 terabytes. You're only using 20 of it. Why don't I then why don't I then optimize that particular volume and give you more space to create other things and store, other objects and files.
So what are the implications on performance? I mean, this is a beast of a machine, no question about that. But if you're doing that kind of dynamic moving of data and all, is there a performance hit?
It's the fastest Drobo yet, right? So it's faster than all the other Drobos out there. So the performance numbers are out there. I believe it's above 1,000 on reads, and the writes I want to say are close to about 400 to 600. So it's a beast. And again, we've made it simple to use, and that's kind of been our hallmark, right? As we've put a product out there that's pure Thunderbolt. Now think about it. There's a lot of competing products out there that have Thunderbolt, but they're really running Thunderbolt over Ethernet, right? They're running a NAS solution that has just Thunderbolt connectivity. This is pure Thunderbolt 3, right? And so you're going to get the speed and reliability of a Thunderbolt 3 connection.
Smile and TextExpander are supporting this edition of MacVoices. When you get a new Mac, what are the first apps you install? Which ones do you feel are the most important, the most used? The ones that make your Mac feel like your Mac and not someone else's that you've borrowed. TextExpander by Smile is at the top of my list. Why? Because saving time is important to me. Because being accurate is important to me. Because I prefer to have my Mac work for me. And TextExpander does all of those things. With TextExpander, a few characters or a short phrase expand into text and code that I use frequently. Something simple, like my full name, my address, my phone number, today's date. A few characters for each of those, and they appear, fully typed out, exactly the way I wanted them. Or something complex, like the code necessary for certain parts of publishing MacVoices. Or an introductory email to a new team member at work outlining the resources available to them. Or a request for an interview. The list goes on and on. The biggest challenge is recognizing that you type certain things over and over, and TextExpander can help you with that by watching what you type and suggesting new snippets to help you be more efficient. For those of you with multiple Macs, you can sync your snippets across so that everything is available on every machine. And for those of you with iOS devices, there's a version of TextExpander for iPhone and iPad that takes advantage of all those snippets you've already created. TextExpander requires so little and gives back so much. Find out just how much by visiting TextExpander.com and download a free trial. You'll be text expanding in no time at all. That's TextExpander from Smile at TextExpander.com. Thanks to Smile for being the longest-running sponsor of MacVoices. So I don't even know where to start. I mean, first of all, my Drobo Pro has been, so reliable and so terrific, and having those 8 bays. But this new Drobo will do. First of all, it'll do something I know mine can't do. You can accept both spinning drives as well as solid-state drives in the same device.
Yeah. So both on the front on the front end, you can the 8 actual bays that are there. You can both put spinning drives and with an adapter put SSDs. But we have a pure hot data cache in the back that's just an SSD. And you can use a 2.5-inch form factor, again, that allows you to push it in and out. And again, no screws, no tools, just how Drobo does it, right? Extremely simple to use, just like a cassette. If you remember the cassettes back in the day.
I heard somebody talk about them once.
I still have a cassette player. That's pretty sad.
Well, no, it's not sad. It's just, hey, if it works, it works. That's sort of the hallmark. That was the thing when I started looking over the specs for this. This really does look like it's aimed at not necessarily the IT community, but the creative community, the folks that need a lot of storage, but don't want to geek around with a lot of the technical details. They just want it, and they want fast, they want reliable, and they want a lot of it.
Exactly. It's made for, prosumers, kind of all the way up to professional editors who require not only the speed, but also require the volume, the volume capability that this thing delivers. Again, this is, I talked about it. This was really a labor of love on turning a business that was always, making products, hoping for customers to buy them. We've kind of flipped this around over the last 2 or 3 years and really listened to the customers and the features that they wanted. And those features were, hey, we want Thunderbolt 3. We want an 8-bay direct attached device. It should be doing these types of speeds. It should have dynamic, volume control and management stuff built in. And you know what? We knocked every single major feature request that most of our customers had asked for. And I'm super proud of our team of being customer focused.
So this, with the dynamic resizing and all, is this another iteration of the Beyond RAID technology, or is it something a little bit different?
I think the base Beyond RAID technology still exists. This is just an enhancement of that technology, right? It's a, how are we different? How are we flexible, right? And we go back to one of Drobo's key value propositions is having the flexibility to mix and match drive sizes and drive brands. Why not have the flexibility to be able to create your volume size? And not only that, let the system optimize it for you. It's got intelligence built into it. So again, taking the complexity out of your day-to-day life and letting, Drobo handle the storage and protection of your data.
Yeah, that's something that's so important in my mind for the creative people you're talking about. I mean, by their very nature, creatives have had to get a lot more technical because of some of this stuff, and Drobo relieves some of that pressure by making it as simple as it is. I mean, you still have the Drobo Dashboard. You still can do pretty much anything you need to your Drobo from the dashboard. But for the most part, you really don't need to fire the dashboard up that often. The Drobo just sits and does its thing.
Yeah, and look, the other thing is the migration path is just like Drobo does it. You take the drives out of your old one and you put in the new one. Now, I know we're working on the migration path for the Pro because it is an older generation product, and I believe currently you do have to copy that data over. But, from the 5D3, from the 5D, from the 5C, moving that stuff over, simply take out the drives and, shove them into the new one, and the system will rebuild itself.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask about the migration path. So this is a copy situation right now with this, as opposed to just popping all the drives out and putting them in the new machine.
Only for the Pro.
Just for the Pro.
Like for all the other direct attach, I believe it's on the website. And if I'm missing some, I apologize. I know for the 5D3, the 5D, and the I believe the Drobo, the standard Drobo, the Gen 1, Gen 2 Drobo, I think you can just pull them out and plug them in. Just go to the website to double check that. But we've tried to make it as easy as possible. The 8-bay Pro migration path should be out in the next 3 to 4 weeks, where you'll be able to take those drives out. I do recommend, if those drives are old and you haven't swapped them out in a while, we do recommend getting newer drives. It might just be less amount of drives. It's just bigger capacity drives, because those drives, on a machine this powerful, could exert a lot of pressure on those old drives.
If you're spending the money on something like this and you have precious data, honestly, I'd rather go through the copy process where it's moved over, it's validated as it's copied. It may take a little while, but let it take a couple overnight transfers. You'll be much happier and I think much safer, because I would suspect anybody that has the Drobo Pro, at least a few of the drives probably have a little age on them. I know mine. That would be my choice, because mine definitely do.
Yep. And again, it's up to the consumers and the customers to decide. But we've tried to take a lot of thought around making it easy for that migration.
So, Mihir, I was the one that said, this is, it seems to me, targeted for professionals, not IT professionals, but creative professionals. Any other markets that you're targeting with this particular device?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of use cases in the government, right? Mainly around surveillance and those types of activities and video analysis, right? So you think of creatives for the government, right? They're taking a lot of um, video footage and analyzing it, and they need to analyze it in pretty rapid type environments. Creatives, YouTubers, again, they're creatives as well. We're seeing a big market for that. As we see YouTube being a pretty fantastic platform for the democratization of media, that we think that more and more users will get onto a Drobo-ish platform. And so again, taking away the complexity so they can go focus on their art that they're creating.
Yeah, and it always strikes me, and I've said this, I think, about every model that you've come out with, and this just is more so, but we're all gathering up more assets. We're taking more pictures, we're shooting more video, and with the new phones, the video is bigger. In fact, I just earlier today had a conversation about, well, what size phone do I need? Well, kind of depends on how much video and how many photos you're taking. You can either try to leave everything on there, or you can offload it to something like a Drobo, which is quite a bit safer, no question about it. So that's something that I think even the average family. I mean, God, everybody that has their first child, they want to capture every moment, but you have to have somewhere to put that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, we were just on a short family vacation, and my wife has a 256 gig iPhone, and she filled up nearly a quarter of it with videos she took, right? And so we're going to see that digital assets are going to continue to grow, both families, businesses, and creatives and the like. And our objective is to make, again, products that are easy to use, but also cost-effective in relationship to even cloud storage, right? Cloud becomes expensive, and it's got speed issues when you really need to edit workflows. You just can't do it. Here's the other thing, Chuck. I don't know about you. I use a MacBook Air, right? The MacBook Airs now have maybe 256, gigabytes of memory on there. The form factors are becoming smaller and smaller and skinnier, and they're all with flash. So you have limited capacity. You want to be able to have an external device that can, where you can offload things if you're not using on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, but you don't want to just offload them to anything. I mean, that's kind of the point. You want something that is protected, like the Drobo. Which is a really nice segue into asking the question of, is this single drive, a single or dual drive redundancy built in?
You can pick. So again, with Drobo, you have a choice of picking a single drive or dual disk redundancy. I always suggest dual disk redundancy. If you're buying a set of 8 drives from a manufacturer, and 2 of those come from a bad lot, and both of them go bad for whatever reason, you want to make sure that you're protected. And so again, we give you choice, we give you flexibility. No other system out there in the marketplace does this.
Yeah, and I know you and I have kind of debated that a little bit. Is it something that customers should be given the choice for? And there are arguments for both sides, but I always err on the side of the most protection I can possibly get. It means I don't get quite as much raw storage, but I'd much rather have that in the event of a power outage or, a problem of any kind, or to your point, just having a drive failure.
Yeah. And look, my view is, if your business your business is media, your business is doing, photography, this is what helps you generate dollars. You don't want to leave it up to a product or a service that's gonna lose your data, because that's your bread and butter.
This edition of MacVoices is supported by Opsgenie by Atlassian. Opsgenie makes sure that when your next incident occurs, you and your team will be notified quickly and efficiently. No, not all of your team, just the ones who can take care of the problem. But what if they can't? Opsgenie includes a smart combination of scheduling and escalation paths. It gets kicked up to the next level, so more resources can be deployed, and the chances of your customers being dissatisfied goes down. And that's the point, right? Incidents occur. No matter how you try, they happen. What's important is how you respond, and how quickly. And Opsgenie is your solution. It integrates with other apps in your system like Jira, Amazon CloudWatch, Datadog, New Relic, over 200 in all, to make sure that you get the fastest notification possible when something goes wrong. And Opsgenie makes sure that the right people get notified, taking into account things like holidays, shift hours, and time zones, so that your support team is used effectively, but not abused. You can't have your service down for long. Customers start to consider other options when your service is down. Keep your customers happy so you keep your customers. Right now, visit opsgenie.com, get all the details, and sign up for a free account. That's right, a full free account, not a trial. Then add up to 5 members of your team for free. Right now, all at opsgenie.com. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Thanks to Opsgenie for their support of MacVoices. So I admit, I'm sitting here trying to do the math in my head and it's not working. So I'll just ask it. What are the smallest drives that can go in this, and what are the largest drives it will accept?
It will accept 14 terabyte drives. So we have qualifications all the way up to 14 terabytes, and the smallest is whatever's available, right? I don't even think they're making 1 terabyte drives anymore, but they could go all the way, full spectrum. Again, that's what Drobo has been known for, right? Trying to qualify and test drives that are out in the marketplace. But I think this one's qualified up to 14 currently.
Wow. Yeah, the reason I asked that, I was thinking actually of the SSD market. What we're seeing, 512s are becoming common. 1 terabytes are starting to slide into that affordability area. So can we take it the whole way down to a 512 SSD?
Yeah, absolutely. You can pop that. You could pop that 512 2.5-inch disc in the back, and again, if it's more media and more video type workflows, we do suggest to have a higher SSD in the on the caching behind the device, right? On the hot cache. But look, if it's you're using it for small workflows and you're not creating full-blown movies, a 512 will work just fine.
Mm-hmm. One other thing that always seems to come up when I have a conversation about Drobo is the dreaded green drive question. Because so many people try to save money and use green drives in these things. Obviously, they're not going to perform as well as, say, the black drives or the high-performance drives, but there's some Drobos that I believe you recommend the green drives are not to be used in. Is this one of those?
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends on your use and what assets are you protecting, right? If your primary business is delivering videos to your customers, we obviously suggest to err on the side of caution and use the higher end black and HDST and those types of drives. But look, if you're editing home videos and stuff like that, and cost is a concern, it's okay to use those, but also know getting into it that the performance will be a little bit low and the reliability won't be as high. So again, we let the customers make that decision. I got an interesting question from a customer. Why don't you just stick the drives in there and sell it to us with it fully populated? And, my response was, well, look, day one, you're not going to need all that stuff. And why fork over, thousands of dollars in drives when you could populate maybe 4 of them today and grow as you need it over a time period.
And, that's a key point that I know when the Drobo Pro came out, that you don't have to put any size drive, and you don't have to occupy all 8 bays at first. You can, to your point, you move over from an existing Drobo, maybe only 4 of the bays are populated. You need more storage? Well, then you go out and buy another drive. And then once you fill it all up, you pick your smallest drive, pull that one out, put a higher capacity in, keep on going. It's just such a great way to maximize the value of what you have, and keep it all there without having to do the inevitable copying and swapping back and forth and just sucking up all the time. Because with that kind of capacity, any movement of data requires a lot of time, no matter how fast your speeds are.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's something our engineers and our product people spent a lot of time on, is making it usable, making it affordable, but yet still have the robustness to deliver, the performance that folks need.
Yeah. And of course, the Drobo interface is so easy to understand. I walk in my house, and if I've got everything green, life is good. And if I have a yellow, I need to pay attention. And if I have a red, okay, it's time to do something about it. So it's simple to understand. You don't have to dig through the Drobo Dashboard to figure out what's going on. That's why I advocate these things so highly, because they work so well for me. And I love just the thoughtfulness that is put into them.
Yeah, have you? And by the way, I don't know if your viewers had the opportunity to see the new dashboard with the bigger icons and letting you know when there's updates and those types of things. Again, we've made it very simple and easy to use, even to upgrade your apps on there. So there'll be notifications, like, hey, you need to update your Drobo Pix app or your Drobo Access app. And so again, we tend to spend a lot of time being humans trying to figure this out, rather than being machines and trying to figure this out, right? What would a normal, person like you or me, how would they use the product, and how would they construct their volumes, and what are the things that are missing from this to make it even easier? And I tell you, one of the things we do is we go back into our support tickets, right? What are the things people have had complexity in putting together, and we roll those features back into our product roadmap, right? Because to me, that's free product development, right? You got a list of issues customers are having. How can we take those issues and resolve them through enhancing our technology?
You've done such an amazing job so far, and this is just one more example of it. And so congratulations to you and the whole team. Another great Drobo product.
Well, thank you. It's hard work, but at the end of the day, we're here to serve our customers, and then hopefully this product is a big hit.
And the best place to go and find out about all of this, not just the new Drobo 8 Bay, but all the other Drobos, of course, is drobo.com.
Yeah, I think we're running a special on our store. I think that's www.drobostore.com. Please go check it out.
Great. Mihir, thanks so much for the time. I know it's a busy launch day for you, and I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us about it.
No, thank you for having me.
We'll do it again.
Okay. See you later.
Take care. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. You've heard me say it before. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it until you listen. I have never lost any data in any Drobo, and I can't say that about any other brand of hard drives that I've encountered. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Mac Voices Facebook group and get more out of your Apple Tech with Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep Mac Voices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.